Driving with my knee. We're starting this vlog off right. Picked up Cameron from the airport. Say hi, Cameron.
Yo, what's up?
Still not focused. We're going through SF right now, hella traffic. I caught my favorite coffee though, so fuck it. The 5 because the 5 is one straight line and it's just a belligerent grind the entire way. We're somewhere very special to my heart right now. Cameron, where are we?
Reading, boys. Reading.
They should definitely have like a welcome to Reading sign here, but they don't, and it really pisses me off. We out here. Cameron looks proper for a wedding.
What's up, dog?
I don't. I'm going with the Pinroll Deniki, so it should be fun. I'm gonna try to vlog at the wedding, but no guarantees. I'm also gonna try to do a knife review at the wedding, but again, no guarantees. It's probably disrespectful if I vlog at the wedding, huh?
Not like, I think after is fine.
I feel like if I'm like this at a fucking wedding, it'd be weird. Fix it in post.
I would do it, push button, pull the trigger, go mountain, jump off a cliff, cause you know, baby, I love you a little bit. You would do it, you would say it, you would mean it, we could do it, he was...
This place is pretty belligerent. We drove like 3 hours to get here. Hopefully there's some legit stuff to do.
We're going to this cafe called Shark Bite Cafe. We're only going because of the name. Just like the only reason why we came here is because it was called Coos Bay. What do you think, Cameron?
I think we're gonna walk a bunch and we're gonna get some dank ass food.
How are your mosquito bites doing, by the way?
Yeah, we gotta get some cream for that shit.
Cameron has a third arm now. Just so bright. Ah! No thank you. Turns out we're fucked. We're gonna fight somewhere else. It's interesting because I don't see the Bible here. I hell respect it. Honestly, I'm just trying to find a knife shop. Coos Bay's lit though. Only reason why we came here, because it was Coos Bay. So I didn't Google image anything. I didn't look at anything on the internet. I wanted to just take it in. Can't say I'm disappointed. The only problem is we're here on a Monday, or a Sunday. We're here on a Sunday and half the shit's closed, so. We found a place to eat.
Going to a micropub?
It's a micropub. The weird thing is, I don't see anything micro about this pub.
Getting fish and chips.
Because it's Coos Bay. Fucking you better, dab. We're pussies though because we didn't order beer at like 1 p.m.
It's like
in Coos Bay. No, it's not 4.
Yeah, it is.
It's 4:20 actually. So. It all depends on what injury we're talking about. But I don't know. Could you do the thing in the 127 hours?
What's that?
He gets trapped between a rock and he has to cut off his leg, I believe.
His arm.
Is his arm? Okay. Yeah. Topped famous fish and chips at Coos Bay. If you're ever in Coos Bay, you should come to the micropub, Coney's Station, and get this fish and chips. Coos Bay. All right, we finally found some windbreak. Finished at the pub, it was lit. Like she only refilled it once and my tip is proportional to how often my coffee is refilled, unfortunately for her. I didn't realize this at first when I came to Coos Bay because I was too caught up in the hype of Coos Bay. But it initially started, I guess, as like a mill for wood, hella wood. And it got more and more belligerent, and then as technology progressed, old mills that used to, you know, cut down trees would have a lot of weight. But then as the Industrial Revolution took hold, they realized that they could use those wood scraps to make particle board and other things like wafer board. Later on, they figured out that they could literally use every single piece of the tree that they brought into these mills. So now contemporary mills literally have zero waste. It's crazy. Pretty interesting. I assumed this was like a fishing place or something, but it makes sense that it would be close to the ocean because you could have ships come in and then get the wood. But I want to see these wood piles, to be honest. Look at the wood. Look at the wood. Look at the wood. Hella toothpicks.
Do it, push button, pull the trigger, go mountain, jump off a cliff, cause you know, baby, I love you a little bit. You would do it, you would say it, you would mean it, we could do it, it was you and I only I think I'm a little bit.
There's hella wind out here. I'm really not gonna be able to vlog that much. We're at a lit ass like small town. Check this shit out. It's like the Pacific Ocean. It's foggy. It's just like at the East Coast. I don't know if any of you guys have been to like Maine. This vlog that I was asked to cover actually goes into if you should buy a Balisong or not. He loves that you can get service here. He just loves it. Just loves it. Should you buy a Grail? Should you buy a standard knife? Anyways, it's really hard to like make the decision to spend a lot of money on a knife, especially an expensive one. Basically, it's really hard to spend money on a knife, and like what knife should you get if you want to spend money on a knife? How much money is too much money? Issue with it is that there's a lot of fact that goes into it in terms of like objective reasoning. This is right because it is a fact. This is right or this is wrong because there is an opinion. So there's subjective and objective part to this discussion. We're gonna get into all of it, at least from my lens, my perspective. So I spent quite a bit of money on knives. I will not lie. It's arguably out of control, but I think that I could be a lot more belligerent in terms of like spending money on knives and wasting time and money on knives, I guess. I don't know. I'm just glad you guys are along on the journey. We're gonna have to talk about Grail, and we're gonna have to talk about your run-of-the-mill production flipper.
I'm a tainted heart, and I will never ever be first to say it, but still I ain't no. I would do it, push button, pull the trigger, go mountain, jump off a cliff, 'cause you know, baby, I love you a little bit. You would do it, you would say it, you would mean it, we could do it. It was you and I, not only I think I'm a little bit in love with you.
Quite the change from yesterday. Cameron, my homie that I traveled with, he has to go to work, and we're kind of in a rush because I need to get home too. With Balisongs, there's like your standard Balisong, like a replicant, right? Number one that comes to mind. The first thing I noticed when I got into flipping was how belligerent the prices were. I was like, yo, first of all, why can't I buy a knife? Because I would go on Blade HQ and I couldn't find anything. So then you have to go into forums, Facebook, Instagram, find them other places where they are being sold. Then you're exposed to the secondary market price for said knives. So you go from Blade HQ, where a replicant could be $270 new, to I don't know, Jersey Devil, where they're selling a brand new in-box BRS replicant for $370. And you're like, whoa, wait a second here. It's $270. And I get this question a lot. People are like, why are Balisongs so expensive, dog? And the reason why is because of fucking economics. If there's a finite amount of BRS replicants, they're gonna go up in price, especially if they're brand new in box. It's not a big surprise. The other issue with it is the flippability of Balisongs, because it's technically subjective, but at the same time, it's really not. It's like a good car. Every car technically is a good car, but there's certain cars that you need to drive for long distances or go over rocky terrain. Butterfly knives, there's certain butterfly knives that are really, really good for EDCing. There's certain ones that are really, really good for flipping. There's ones that are better at aerials. There's ones that, you know, you don't do aerials with, etc. So you have to find out what kind of knife best suits you. There's like literally way too much wind right now. 2 days later. Yeah, I got really caught up with studying when I got home. I had a ton of stuff to do. We're still doing this video though. I'm gonna use the knives in my collection to kind of illustrate to you the process that you should go through when thinking about buying a Balisong or investing in Balisongs. And then we're gonna talk about the flippability, the pros and cons, and then we're just gonna move up systematically. Eventually we're gonna end up at the Grails. Let's get it. This is the most entry-level Balisong you can get. It's like 30 bucks. You can buy them on Amazon. You can buy them in Chinatown. That's where I got this knife. I actually paid $90 for this knife. I overpaid by about like 3,000%. Anyways, never get one of these. This is a CCC, cheap China crap. Well, initially I thought I could, you know, vlog inside of Panera, but there are so many people and I want to actually like really discuss these knives, so let me get all of them out. Okay, we've already discussed the CCCs. Basically with Balisongs, the way I view them at least, anywhere from $100 and down, completely pointless, waste of money. Bear Ops, waste of time. Baron Sun, waste of time. $100 to $200 range, they fluctuate all the time, but the cheapest Balisong you can probably cop that's flippable, meaning that it's an all-around really good flipper, is probably the Bare Bones. Will start you at about $180. And then going up from there, as well as the Benchmade 51. The 51's really, really good. It's an all-around really good knife. Check out my review on it. The Bare Bones, I don't personally like. If you get it modded correctly, it's good. Both of those start at about $180, but you'd get them pretty beat. Moving into actual flippers. First and foremost, the replicant. They just did a restock of these on Blade HQ. They're all gone. I didn't pick one up because I have 2 of these already. I don't need another one. $270. This one's my beater. Great knife. All around, probably one of the best flippers out there. Actually, it is the best flipper out there. $270 doesn't sound like a lot of money to some people. To other people, it sounds like a shit ton of money. If you're gonna get into flipping at all, you need to cop a replicant first or above. I guess you can get a bare bones. Seriously though, I would go with this knife. Or you could spend a little more money, $350 and up, and you can cop an Alpha Beast. Is this focused? Alpha Beasts are pretty lit. I prefer the replicant over it because it's more of a beater knife. At this price point of between $270 to I'll say like $480 for some of the nicest Alpha Beasts, they're great beater knives. Both of these are tanks. Both of them will not break. You can get replacement hardware. They're made for flippers, by flippers. BRS is the shit. Just a little side note. There's 2 types of knives. There are flipping knives and there are safe queen. Safe queen means you buy the knife, you put it in your safe. Personally, I flip all of my knives, but I will not beat all of my knives. I'll beat these knives and that they were already beat. If you look right here, this thing's beat to shit. But I like that because I can always carry this with me and it won't really matter. Moving on from the Alpha Beast and the replicant price range, we're at about $400 now to $550. Okay, in that range. That I think is the sweet spot for the best flippers. So if you save up all your money, if you sell all your other stuff because you really are into flipping, I would cop one of these knives. First up, Home Spectre Titanium. This thing flips amazing. Jeez. But this is a really good knife, I'm not gonna lie. Market on it's probably like 4 to 5. I know that T-Max sold like a bunch of his knives to get doubles of that, so he really likes that knife. Next up is obviously your 42. Everyone should have a 42. It's a pretty standard knife, but it's a very good flipper as well. They are rare. They are not in production. You're gonna have to spend a pretty penny on it, but it's a really, really good knife. Next up is your TAC 2. TAC Tontos are about in the same region. Again, with all 3 of these knives, right here, all 3 of these bad girls, you're gonna be spending more than you would on like an Alpha Beast or a replicant, but you're paying for really, really high quality flipping. And most of the flipping videos that I see are done with these types of knives in this price range. They're kind of mid-range in my opinion. They're kind of cheap still, but they're good and they hold up to beating because I've seen all of these knives as beaters still flip perfectly. Now when you move out of this range, things start to get interesting. There's less of an emphasis on flipping per se and more of an emphasis on collecting, but at the same time flippability. That's where things start to get a little gray and a little more confusing. For instance, focus. This is the 626 Benchmade. This is technically a Benchmade 67, as you can see right there, but it has custom scales on it. This was done by Stitch Steel, but these are the kind of knives that you start like kind of getting involved with when you go above the $500 range. You get into like weird custom knives, I guess, replicants with custom scales. In general, very heavily modded knives that are expensive because they're rare and their variants are rare. If you took a typical 6X blade and you put Squiggle scales on it, Squiggle is a guy that makes scales that are titanium to almost match exactly the 4X series. One of those scales and you slap them on a 6X series, by default you're in the $500 to $600 range because his scales run, ballpark $300 a set. Fly ties are a little lower than this, but I don't even consider fly tie custom anymore. They're so common that, it's whatever. I'm gonna go eat. We're gonna cover Grails when I get home. Get back. Anyways, that's my take on the standard, kind of regular Balisongs. Now we're gonna get into the little more the Grail aspect. These ones are nice, but I like something a little more legit. Fuck it. As I said before, Grails, they come in various sizes. It's hard to read, but there's flippers, there's collector items, but right in the middle, right between both of them, those are the girls I try to fuck with. Those are the ones that I want to spend my money on. Those are the ones I cop. It's unfortunate because that's what most people want as well. You'll have like random people like San Mai that have knives, spend ridiculous amounts of money, but for the most part, we're trying to make the most out of the money that we have. That means that I'm only gonna cop a Grail that I really, really, really want. Most people are gonna say that this isn't a Grail, but because of the rarity and how hard I grinded to get it, I'm gonna say that my Archangel is, I'd say it's pretty Grail-y. It's like a really good fucking knife. Okay. This knife cost me a shit ton of money. It cost me so much money that when it went up for sale, someone commented saying, "What the fuck are you doing selling the knife for that much money?" I didn't comment. I messaged the guy and I said, "I'll take it." BC Palatheus Midtech. I tried to get his like the custom version of this knife, the first BCs, or like the first like titanium BCs that came out or whatever. Unfortunately, I couldn't. I was very disappointed, but that was basically back when I was just getting into flipping. This knife, I have been offered a lot of money to sell, and I've been very tempted to sell it. The only reason why I don't is because it's too good of a fucking flipper. Every time I talk myself up like I'm gonna sell it, I'll go reach for it, I'll flip it, and I'll be like, I can't. Anyways, yeah, like, I'll do a review on this knife, but yeah, like, you can't even, it's retarded. Like, it's literally retarded. It's such a good knife. Anyways, I have to cut this, I have to upload this because I need to study more, but the moral of the story is this. If you want to get into flipping, you need to invest. You need to get a good knife because if you don't, you're not going to improve and you're not going to have the tools necessary to really hone your skill. As you get up more and more in the cost bracket, knives become a lot more complicated. They flip good, they're also collectors. You can flip it, but you'll lose money because you can devalue your knife if you drop it once on concrete. That's why almost anyone I know never takes Grails outside of the house. It's all depending on how into the hobby you are. I know a lot of people that spend a shit ton of money on knives and their justification is a good one. They say, hey, it's my hobby. I'm like an artist because Balisong manipulation is an art. So if I'm an artist, you're goddamn right I'm gonna spend the most money I can to get the best materials to produce the best art. And let me tell you, these guys, they put almost anyone to shame. They actually use those knives for what they're meant to be. You know, at the end of the day, you could be going into debt for a house, purses, or cars, boilers. Knives are tight, and my favorite thing about knives is that they retain their value. Let me know in the comments what you think about Grails. This was a very sporadic video. What knife did you start with? Let me know in the comments what knife you started with, what knife you want maybe. I don't know, your opinion on Grails. Do you think they're overpriced? What do you think about them? I'm gonna do more reviews. I'm gonna do the knife video. We'll figure it out in post, boys. Till next time, take care.